Ladies and gentlemen, fountain pen friends all over the world, welcome to another video. This time it is about the Kanwrite Legacy and 3 more Kanwrite special grinds, in particular an Italic M steel gold plated nib with a Jowo-unit and an ABS plastic feed. The next nib is a B-Italic steel nib, also gold plated, but with a Heritage and Legacy unit fitting those fountain pens. I spoke about the Heritage fountain pens in previous videos and made clear that I really absolutely like them. And the last nib is a double broad zoom nib, also made from steel, gold plated, also in a Jowo-unit, also with ABS plastic feed, whereby the Italic steel nib in broad came in the Heritage unit or Heritage Legacy unit, but with an Ebonite feed. And I will come to this later, why I mention especially the feeds, because I think there are a lot of differences, many differences, and I will explain later during the video. But first of all, let's have a look to the Legacy model. I told you that in previous videos that I bought some of the Heritage fountain pens, and I'm very, very pleased about them, especially about the nib units, which are writing in my book perfectly, and they are all looking very, very nice. So coming back here to this fountain pen, this fountain pen I was talking about a lot, many times, but I didn't pull the trigger because I bought more nibs, and in my case I have to add always a 40 to 45% adder for shipping, for import fees, and for additional fees for UPS. And that's why I hesitated to pull the trigger on this one, because the net price roughly is $58. I have to say the price is justified, absolutely. Let's go to some details. You see, that thing has black trims here and here. You can choose different trims, gold colors, silver colored, but I have chosen the black trims. I like them very much. The form, the design of the fountain pen, let's say nothing special. Here on top of the cap, it's shaped like a circus tent, the top of a circus tent, something similar what we see with many other fountain pens, for example from the Italian maker Leonardo. And here at the end of the barrel we will find the same shape. It's rather flat. It's bigger than the Heritage, but not so much. It's a long pen, as you can see. Maybe I have to take this away. I have to take also the book away, so you see it's a large pen, not oversized. It's lightweight, but it gives me a substantial and sturdy feeling. Absolutely fantastic. The fountain pen came with the ordered black steel nib in double XF, so an accountant nib, and they also put additionally an M nib, also in black. Very nice. So let's see. What does it reveal? It's a Kanwrite it's a Kanwrite converter, screw-in converter. It's a little bit tight. This is very good because it doesn't leak. You see here a few turns and it reveals the converter, pilot style, open, very nice, ensuring a good flow, a good ink flow. Come on here. I think there is also there is no O-ring. So let me see that I get this properly attached. Quite difficult under the camera. Now. So tight, very nice. It's twist operated here the twist, and it came also, let me put that back, all the parts, it came also with an additional, let's say, screw-in ink cartridge. Very nice idea, I have to say. So you put in ink in here. There you can see there is a small O-ring, sturdy plastic. You put in ink, or eyedropper or syringe or whatever. Here is the same principle as with the converter. And at the end, I like that very much, because in order not to lose the cap, the screw-in cap, you put that in, and then you just change. For example, when traveling, suddenly the converter is empty, or you want to change a color, whatever. This is very, very nice, well working, and a good idea, thought through, I have to say. I like that very much, and it came free. So, with the compliments of Kanwrite, so to speak. Let me put this back. It's very important for me. Sorry for doing it under the camera, but I don't want to lose those parts. My tendency is to lose and to forget everything during the last few years. So, put this back. Also the material thickness, I think something like up to 2 millimeters material. Speaking about the material used here, the Kanwrite website says it's Ebonite acryl cellulose, most probably cellulose acetate. But don't ask me if that is a mix or whatever they think about that. I just repeat what the website says. but I never heard about a mix of acryl, cellulose, acetate and ebonite. Maybe I have to ask them in a separate email. In the meantime, they are answering quite quickly and give explanations and answers. Very nice. I have to say I'm very pleased about that service. So do a close up. This material is very nice, and what is it called? The amber crush. So amber with crush, with crushed whatever in it. Very, very nice. I like the style of this fountain pen. I like I like really everything, even though it's much more expensive, double basically, than the heritage models. I don't regret having bought it. And I replaced the nib, you see here. I replaced the nib with a gold-plated steel nib, a B-Italic. So in my former videos I presented cursive italics. The difference explained also on the Kanwrite website is, let's go back, give a full picture, maybe, yeah. I bought only cursive italic nibs because they said the cursive italic nibs are the grind is at the edges soft, not crisp. So these nibs are also not very coarse or crisp at the, let me see if I can make that clear. Yeah, focus, double tap, very nice working. So let's see if I can show that a little bit better. Here at the nib tip, at the sides, so it should be coarse. You can see also, maybe you can see, so there is tipping material B, size B, and maybe you can see that. I hope so. Let's try to make it clearer. That doesn't work. Why? Let's go back. So the cut or the grind is basically the very, very top of the B tipping material. That's their style. I mentioned that in other videos. That basically I am not used to this kind of stub and also italic or cursive italic grinds. But nevertheless, these edges are not really very crisp, very sharp, so that you can easily cut paper. I tried that. Yes, it gives a little bit of, how to say, not scratches on the paper. That's not true. You can feel it is a little bit more crisp, more coarse, but not really, as I have heard from other italic grinds, that they are cutting paper. And by the way, except using nibs, flex nibs, I don't push fountain pen nibs on the paper, and this is, let's say, against the rules. So anyway, let me give you a few informations. The measurements, it's overall 152 millimeters with 25.8 grams capped. Uncapped we are at 136.8 millimeters and a weight of only 18.2 grams. Posting is possible, but it is really not recommendable, to be honest, and the total length would be 187 millimeters at 25.8 grams, uninked, everything. The cap opens with 1.5 turns. Let's go here. 1, a quarter, between a quarter and a half. Great, I like that very, very much. I will write down the measurements in the description, of course. The barrel diameter here, measured here roughly, is, what was it, 14.4 millimeter. So the Heritage model has 12.8 millimeters, so the difference is not really that big. The section is 11.1 millimeter. Here I measure always here at the end, whereby the Heritage model comes with 10.8 millimeters. So this converter has roughly a capacity of 1 millimeter, maybe a little bit more, whereby the let's say ink tank, I measured roughly 2, maybe 2.5 milliliters of ink. That's really you can see, you know, this can be filled with ink, and here, because of the ink filling system, well, it's like a piston, to be honest. Doesn't give that much of ink capacity, though. This is really a tank, an ink tank. Nothing to shoot with, just a tank. So, I spoke already about the material. It's a little bit maybe disturbing to read about Ebonite acrylic cellulose. But I don't want to go too much into the details here. It's time for a writing sample, and this time I'm using a local paper. I want to use a local paper. Nothing special, but quite nice, quite well performing. Maybe let's go here to zoom number 2. I don't show you the standard nibs. They are performing well, so there is no question about that. So as I said, this is the Kanwrite Legacy model. And this is a Legacy Heritage unit. The nib is a B-Italic. So the difference, as I said, these are crisp cuts, according to Kanwrite, and different to the cursive italics, which are non-crisp. What else? It's steel, of course. but gold plated. Gold plated. With a, this is important to know, I think it is important to know, with an Ebonite feed. Basically, I regret that Kanwrite doesn't support these Legacy heritage units with a plastic feed. They all come with Ebonite feeds. You can't change that. Simply because if I am using flex nibs, ultra flex nibs, yes, of course, Ebonite. There is no alternative for me. Only Ebonite. But with these special grinds, I think my feeling, my understanding is, or my taste, that it is better to use ABS plastic feeds, simply to limit the ink flow. As you can see here with this writing sample, already the ink is rather saturated. Of course, this is a B nib, but let's go to do something which I thought about before making this video. So this is 0 degrees, this is 90 degrees, and this is roughly 45 degrees, and I would say this is the normal angle, low angle, and perpendicular. So let's say 0 degrees, I just say P, upstrokes are smaller than downstrokes. Let's do a couple of figure eights. So there is a skipping, and let's use the word na. Come on here, behave well. We are. So now let's say the 45 degrees normal angle, perpendicular angle, and now let's go, yeah, well, not to a 90 degrees, but to a low angle, which is quite unfamiliar for me, to be honest. The perpendicular angle and the low angle is something I'm not used to. And let's write. There are not so many differences, I would say. The lines are more or less the same. Not always. It depends. Let's do the quick brown fox. And reverse writing. Not so much difference as well, no? So here I put in writing normal writing, and this is reverse writing. What do I think about the nib? Sure. Again, I expected more flair from the italic nib, especially from this italic, crisp, coarse nib. Let me see. Give you another idea. So this is now with pressure. Yeah, but cutting the paper is not possible. On this local paper, of course, there is ghosting, but we should not forget, it's a B nib, partially cut into an italic crisp, and we have an Ebonite feed. That means more inflow. So coming to the italic M, and here I have to say, I love this, even though it's not really that. Yeah, thank you very much. I like it. So sorry. This is a Kanwrite. Yeah, great. Italic, crisp. Partially. It is steel, of course. It is gold plated. Let me go better back to zoom 1. It is equipped with a Jowo-unit and with a plastic feed. Again, perpendicular. That means 0 degrees. Downstrokes, upstrokes. couple of 8s. Normal, let's say 45 degrees. And then the low angle, which is not really 90 degrees, impossible for me. Let's try over. Okay. Nothing spectacular with low angle and perpendicular angle, but I like the performance with the normal angle. Let me switch the camera a little bit. By the way, this fountain pen is a Delmoon Majestic ArtCraft in black. I made a video of that. If you are interested, I made a video of that fountain pen quite a time ago. I'm very satisfied with the quality and everything. So let's see. Yeah, jumps over the lazy dog. I have to say this is one of my favorite nibs right now. Beside the triple XF nib, Ultraflex nib from Kanwrite, which I reviewed also in a former video. I like this nib very much. I don't know why. It's really not what I expect from an italic nib, but I like to write with it. Definitely. So the last part is the zoom nib. And maybe I should go to number 2. So let's see here. In full glory. Yeah. So basically, if you are interested in these nibs, maybe the M-Italic in a Jowo housing with a plastic feet, you can choose that, would be an alternative for you. And I mentioned it in my former videos. You should be prepared to do some DIY grinding, buffering by yourself. I didn't change anything with this nib. Let me see if I can show that better to you. I didn't change anything. In the beginning I just widened the gap of the tines a little bit with 0.0607 and 0.8 millimeters in order to make the ink flow better. It skipped a little bit on me. I wrote, I don't know, 20-30 pages with it, making a list of all my fountain pens and swapped nibs and so on. So yeah, there were quite unsatisfying results, skippings, but then after I spreaded the tines a little bit several times, it was behaving well, and I like the outcome. I really like the outcome, but this is personal. So let's go to the zoom, double broad zoom nib. Here, this is my, sorry, no, that's wrong. What did I do? Huh? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the double broad zoom. And this fountain pen is also a Delmoon Urusshi lacquered red brick. It is called spiderweb design here. Fantastic fountain pen, really fantastic fountain pen. Also from the Majestic ArtCraft series. Also, I made a video of this and reviewed it. Very nice fountain pen, I have to say. So let's go here and give it the full glory. As I said, it's a double broad zoom nib. Steel, and of course they are all number 6 sizes and gold plated. I did this to distinguish easily the special grinds, which are all gold plated. I bought them all gold plated, and left all the Ultraflex nibs in the steel color. There you see already, no, the difference. The fountain pen is a Delmoon an Indian brand. Delmoon fountain pens, I think, is the web address. Delmoon. It's an artisan, a one-man show, so do not expect, let's say, commercial, commercial attitudes. The man is really an artist. Delmoon Majestic ArtCraft. And it is called Urusshi red brick. This is just for your reference. Spiderweb design. And again, let's use the perpendicular 0 degrees. And here you already see the complete difference when you hold it perpendicular, the fountain pen or the nib to the paper. It's It's a very, very thin line. Impressive. What else do we have? Side strokes and aura. So that's really a very thin line. And now normal, 45 degrees. Yeah, that is already a quite fat line. And what I forgot to say is that this BB zoom is with a ABS plastic feed. Let's do it for fun. Plastic feed in a Jowo-unit, which fits perfectly into both fountain pens, I have to say. No leaks, no nothing. And now the low angle. How fat that is. I try to get it to the lowest possible angle, still able to write. I mean, most probably knows this zoom nib is maybe something more for artists, meant more for artists. It gives you a variety of line variations depending on the angle, how you hold the nib to the paper. I think great somehow, yes, but not for me. A simple BB nib would do it for me. But I was curious, and I saw another video of a sailor nib, of a sailor fountain pen nib. A zoom nib, but at the price of $300 together with a fountain pen, and nothing spectacular really. The fountain pen, not a new model, not basically nothing, just a piece of plastic, but with an interesting nib. And I thought, well, okay, before I am paying those amounts, I'm going for a $10 to $15 alternative from Kanwrite, and I'm not sure. Most probably the sailor nib will play in another league. I don't have doubts about that, but with my experiences right now, I don't think that I need really a zoom nib. But I have it now, and I'm going to play around with it, maybe getting a bit more familiar with it. That would be okay. So let's the quick brown fox jumps over I think for artists that's an absolute great nib. just changing the angle, having different line width. Great. So let me see. Can I put them together? The results, the writing results. You can also see the ghosting. As I said, this paper is nothing special. Based on the an information from my French friend Une Fontaine de Plume, I bought now some Rhodia paper, more fountain pen friendly, 80 grams, and I will get it in a suit in a few days because I bought it locally. The downside is I paid double the price, which I should get from Amazon France if I would have bought it there. So let's see. This is the writing example for the B-Italic crisp steel gold-plated Ebonite feeded nib, and here we have the M-Italic crisp up to here, and then we are looking at the BB zoom nib, double broad zoom nib in the Delmoon Majestic ArtCraft. So again, different angles, and the big differences are really with the zoom nib. Very, very thin at a perpendicular and with a normal angle, perpendicular angle, normal angle, and then with a low angle, which is really impressive. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for visiting, thank you for joining, thank you for watching. It's a long video, 48 minutes, 49 minutes, something like that. Stay healthy wherever you are and enjoy your fountain pens wherever you are. And thanks for watching again. Bye bye, take care.